Hello students, in today's lecture we'll be learning about role of board of directors in corporate governance. In last lecture we saw what are the functions of board of directors. In role we are going to study what kind of behavior board of directors must have and what important role or significant role do they play in having a good corporate governance. So the first point is role as a trustee. That means um, every time board of directors must keep into mind that they have been appointed as they are the representatives of shareholders. Okay, so therefore it is in their hands all the decision making and how to run the company, and therefore every time this thought should be in their mind that we are working for somebody else. Our decisions, our actions, our plans, our procedures are going to affect the effectiveness or the working of organization. Therefore every time you must have, as a board of director, you must have that feeling that you have been appointed as a representative of shareholders. You are not the real owners of this business. You have been shouldered upon the responsibility by the shareholders because they trust you and they have faith in you, and they think that you can conduct the business or run the business very smoothly and efficiently. So this kind of thought they must always, it should be on the top of their mind. Then the next one is appointment of independent directors. Now there are two types of directors: executive directors and non-executive directors. Okay, so on executive directors are the directors those who work for full time. They're full-time directors, and they have been shouldered upon the responsibility of specific departments, and of course board of directors do appoint such type of full-time directors to look after the day-to-day business of the organization. Okay, so it becomes easy to divide the responsibility and shoulder the responsibility, and it keeps a check on the organization or the management, where employees come to know that these full-time directors are looking after, monitoring the performance, and they are having, having good watch on what is going on in the day-to-day business. So certain responsibilities are being given to these full-time directors. Okay, and there are non executive directors also. In the next point we'll see that appointment of non executive directors. So non executive directors means their responsibility is of very general nature, and they just attend the meetings, they just discuss the things, but they are not being shouldered with certain kind of responsibility. They are not given certain assigned jobs. Okay, so what percentage of a board of directors should be full-time directors, and how many of them should be non-executive directors? Okay, so that ratio has to be divided. म्हणजे एक्झिक्युटिव्ह डिरेक्टर जे असतात किंवा जे फुल टाईम डिरेक्टर्स जे असतात ते त्यांना काही स्वतंत्र डिपार्टमेंटची रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देऊन त्यांना काम करायला दिलेलं असतं. नॉन एक्झिक्युटिव्ह डिरेक्टर्स कोण असतात की ज्यांच्यावर फक्त एक खूप जनरल काइंड ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी असते, फारसा काही त्यांच्यावर भार नसतो. त्यामुळं ऑर्गनायझेशनमध्ये बोर्डनी डिसाईड करणं इम्पॉर्टंट असतं की विच विल बी द हाऊ मेनी पीपल विल बी फुल टाईम डिरेक्टर्स अँड हाऊ मेनी ऑफ देम वुड बी non-executive directors, right? So this ratio has to be decided. Next is to decide the duties and responsibility of independent directors. Okay, just now I told about full-time directors, so these are also called as independent directors. So here your responsibilities, your functions, your authority, all sorts of things should be clearly mentioned, so none of your director is confused, and he can take all his decisions, policy decisions, himself on basis of what kind of role he's supposed to play. So he should be clear about his responsibilities and functions to be undertaken. And every time whenever he's going to take any kind of decision, he has to take approval from the whole of the board of directors. Okay, so but uh, these independent directors should also be given freedom by the BoDs to take the day-to-day decisions, which are not that much major, where every time he should not be asked to take permission of all the board of directors, right? So he must be given that much freedom, and therefore he's called as independent director. He's a full-time director. Okay, then next one is remuneration of independent directors. As I said, full-time directors are appointed. They have been shouldered upon certain responsibility. Therefore, they are spending their time in the organization in day-to-day working of business, and therefore they are definitely they deserve certain kind of remuneration. And Companies Act has made certain provision for the remuneration of full-time directors also. So whenever the decision about remuneration is to be taken, it is to be taken by all the directors collectively, and depending upon the clauses or the provision made in the Companies Act, you should follow that clauses and which are mentioned in the act. The remuneration includes salary, percentage of certain percentage of profit, or percentage of shares, then other fringe benefits. So it includes everything which is part of remuneration, monetary and non-monetary rewards. And therefore remuneration has to be decided in such a way that it should be affordable to that director, because he's going to spend his time, and is going to spend a lot of time, and his energy, his brains is going to use to take day-to-day decisions, and therefore she should be getting a good amount of remuneration which should be affordable. Okay, then next one is separation of chairman and chief executive officer. So it is expected that the company should divide, they should appoint two different people, one as the chairman and one as the CEO, that is chief executive officer. So it becomes easy for the organization to maintain the transparency, and because mm, BODs are the people who are uh, you know who are taking the decisions, and chairman is the person who is important part, or in who plays a very important part in decision making process, and CEO is a person who implements the decision. Okay, so if both the people are same person, that means if chairman and CEO is only a one individual, then certain flaws remain in the processes, isn't it? So therefore it's better to have two different people, the one person who's taking the decision, the other person who's implementing the decision. Okay, so that way it becomes easy for organization to maintain the corporate governance also, and transparency also. Then the next point is strategy about risk management. Okay, so the company, if you want to maintain good corporate governance, then you must have good risk management also. Then you should design your strategies, which should be flawless, and where you should decide about how you are going to manage your risk, how you are going to minimize the losses of the business. Okay, and what kind of role BODs are supposed to play in this designing the strategies for risk management, and that should be clearly done here. Okay, then next is organizing workshops for independent directors, especially the workshops or the training programs should be organized for full-time directors, because they'll be actively participating in the day-to-day activities. And they have been shouldered with certain kind of responsibility of certain departments, and therefore if you want these people to shoulder their responsibility in a very responsible manner, then what you have to do is you have to train them. You have to organize internal discussions, debating, where you should have a exchange of ideas and thoughts. There should be a proper organization of workshops, where these people should be able to face the challenges. They should become trained in how to solve the problems, how to take the decisions, right? So that way they should be well trained, so that they can handle the company's work in a very good manner. Okay, so that also has to be done by the board of directors. Next is disclosure of interest. Okay, so uh, whatever policies and decisions are taken by BoDs in the organization, they should disclose their interest in those decisions. Then next point is facility of e-presence. Now, many a times it happens that on whenever the meeting of BoDs is being organized or arranged, and not all the people are it's not possible for all the BoDs to attend the meeting. Therefore, facility of e-presence should be made available, where those people who cannot personally come and attend the meeting, they can at least attend the meeting through video conferencing or teleconferencing, and you should give them opportunity to express their views through online medium. Okay, so it would be easy for BoDs to take majority of the decisions, because sometimes the decisions are kept pending because some few people didn't attend the meeting, or because the quorum was not completed. So instead of going for such kind of excuses and delaying the decision making process, it's much better that you allow for facility of e-presence, where people, those who are unable to physically come and attend the meeting in your office, they can online give their attendance and give their suggestions, and attend the meeting from wherever they want to. Okay, so this becomes easy for decision making. Okay, then next is nomination committee. Now, for nomination committee should be appointed because you require to appoint board of directors, and if you want good directors to be appointed in the organization, then what you have to do is that you have to keep searching for such directors from various fields, right? And those people should be skillful, they should be intelligent, therefore you must keep on collecting the information of which kind of people are of such kind who can handle our business in a very efficient manner. And for this purpose, for collecting the regular information about such people, talented people, you must appoint a nomination committee. Okay. The next one is remuneration committee. Now, this committee has to be appointed in the organization, because generally the remuneration being given to the board of directors is a great matter discussed by the shareholders, and therefore some committee should be appointed in the organization who will take the decision about what kind of remuneration should be paid to the independent directors and non-executive directors, and accordingly the rates have to be finalized. Next one is audit committee. Whenever you're of course, an audit committee has to be appointed by the board of directors. It should be carefully appointed, because your financial disclosure depends upon what kind of auditor you people have appointed, and therefore you have to conduct the meetings. Board of directors should conduct various meetings and see to it that the right person is appointed at the right place as an auditor of the organization, because it's a very big responsibility. Then next one is respect the suggestions given by shareholders. Of course, many a times your shareholders are giving you certain suggestions about your auditing, or about how to run the business, what kind of decisions you have taken. They are having a lot of suggestions in making run the business smoothly, and therefore you should respect whatever suggestions are given by the shareholders, because they are the real owners of the business. Okay, and whenever you organize the annual general meeting, you should give that reference that certain suggestion was given by a certain shareholder and this is being implemented, so that the other shareholders, let them also understand, or let them also come to know that your suggestions are also valuable for these people. Okay, and this is what is required in good corporate governance. And last point which comes over here is motivation to shareholders for active participation. So uh, you know these shareholders, most of the many of the shareholders, or they don't attend the annual general meetings, or as the shareholders are dispersed, they are scattered all over the at long distances, so it's not possible to for all the shareholders to physically be present for the meetings. But here the board of directors should actively see to it that all the shareholders have got the notice of the meeting, they are aware of the agenda to be discussed in the meeting, and see to it that they actively participate in more number, maximum number for the meetings. So they should keep on motivating the shareholders, and they should make them shareholders aware that their importance in the organization is of utmost, and their suggestions will be always welcome, and therefore your active participation is required. This is what they should be able to communicate to the shareholders. Now next we are going to see what is the role of auditors in corporate governance. So in corporate governance, the first one is liability of auditor. So the liability of auditor is being clearly mentioned in by the the rules and regulations of Institute of Chartered Accountants. Accordingly, auditor is called as a watchdog of organization. So his liability is to find out the errors, frauds being undertaken in the organization, and whatever he has found whenever he is undertaking the audit process, he should clearly mention it in the financial report, that that is what his liability is limited to. Okay, then next one is auditor company relationship. Once the auditor gets the contract of auditing a particular organization, he should not provide them with some non-audit services to that organization. He should disclose the relationship with the company, that I'm only concerned with the auditing of this organization and nothing else. I don't have any other kind of interest with the company's affairs. That he has to mention it clearly. Okay, then next one is certificate of independence. Here the auditor has to provide a certificate of independence when he accept the responsibility as an auditor. Now what does this certificate of independence means? It means that nobody is pressurizing auditor to do something wrong, or to to hide certain facts from the stakeholders, and he is free to do his audit in a free way. Nobody is bothered about it, nobody is pressurizing the auditor. So this way he will have to give it a written consent, which is called as certificate of independence. And this is a very important mm, suggestion given by the Naresh Chandra Samiti. Okay, they had given this suggestion regarding the certificate of independence. Okay, so then the next one is involve the experienced subordinates in conducting audit. So whenever you conduct an audit of a business organization, the auditor should see to it that those who are experienced people, those who know how to conduct the company audit, only those people should be appointed for the audit purpose. The trainee should be avoided in such type of audit processes. And if your people are not very well trained, then it would be difficult for you to conduct the transparent audit. Okay, so some errors might be, your trainees, if they are not trained, then it may happen they won't be able to identify the errors or the frauds undertaken in the organization. So to avoid such kind of thing, it's better to have experienced staff for auditing purpose. And then next one is rotation of audit staff. The auditor should see to it that the audit staff is not repeatedly sent to the same company again and again, because if this happens, some internal relationship take place, because if the same person is visiting the company, then he will have informal relations with other people as well. Therefore it is better to rotate the staff. If today for 2 days you are sending some another people, after 4 days you send some other staff, that way you'll keep on, if you keep on rotation, then it would be easy for you to handle the work. Okay, so there is no any scope of having informal relationship with the company's people. Okay, then next one is quality process for audit. Mm, a auditor must have a quality process for audit, and he must give that information to the um, all his employees, that how the audit should be conducted step by step. Okay, that and audit should be a planned process, it should not be unplanned. You should give an idea to the organization, that how you're going to conduct the audit, which documents are to be first audited, how the process is going to be proceeded. So you must have a clear idea. So for that, you must identify the quality process for the audit. First thing is, okay, then feedback from employees for audit. Mm, okay, so mm you can get, as an auditor, you can get good information. That means whatever information is required for conducting the audit in a flawless manner, you should get information from that, those concerned people, employees, whatever information you want. And you should get easily, you can get a feedback from the employees for the audit. Okay, then next one is disclosure of information, and this is a very important part where whatever the auditor is going to disclose, it is to be published in the annual report of the company, and it is going to be in the hands of shareholders and rest of the stakeholders. So you should be very careful whenever you are disclosing the financial information. You are called as a watchdog of the auditor is always called as a watchdog, and his remarks matters a lot. People believe in him, and therefore he should disclose whatever he has found whenever he is conducting the audit in the financial statements which he is going to disclose. Now we are going to see what is the role of shareholders in corporate governance. Of course, the first one is active participation, where, as I said, that shareholders are scattered, and therefore it is not possible for all the shareholders to attend the annual general meeting. But as far as possible, whenever you find it convenient, you should actively participate in companies working. You should keep on suggesting the company about whatever things you want to suggest to make the smooth running of the business possible. Okay, then you should study the annual report of the company, and whatever queries, if you're having, you can send them in written form. Anyhow, you can communicate with the company if you have any queries. Next is voting right. Of course, so for voting also, many of the time shareholders mentality is that nothing is going to happen because of my one vote if I don't vote. So you should not be so irresponsible. You are the real owner, so you should actively come forward and vote. Voting is also allowed through postage also, so you can have it. If you are unable to go there, you can appoint a proxy for voting also. So many options are available, and therefore you should go for voting. Next is awareness about important decisions. You should also always keep on getting information about what is going on in the organization, what kind of decisions are taking place, and how these decisions are going to affect the investment. And therefore you should be aware about whatever important decisions are taken. You should be in constant touch with the company people, through mobile phones, through any medium you can contact with them. And you should be always alert that good corporate governance is maintained in the organization, and decisions are properly taken. Okay, and last one is you should secure information about all the transaction. Okay, so if as a shareholder you come to know that certain things are going in a wrong way, illegal or unlawful, something immoral is going on in the organization, then it's better that you have a direct contact with the company through mail or through a letter writing. You can anyhow, you can drop a mail, and you can ask for it. Okay, and of course it is obligatory on the organization to provide you with whatever information is required, because you are the real owners. And therefore you should, whenever you find something wrong is going on, you just raise voice against it, and then see that the board of directors would be alert. They'll at least understand that shareholders are having having interest in our business, and they are having keeping a watch on whatever things we are doing. So it's not like that directors can handle the business anyhow and shareholders are unaware of it. So you should show that alertness, so that it acts as a check on the behavior of board of directors. Okay, so this was these all three people are very important. Which three people? Role of board of directors, auditors, and shareholders are three important components of corporate governance. Just now we saw the role of all the three three aspects of organization, how they should play a very responsible role in the organization if you want to maintain good corporate governance. With this, today we'll stop the lecture. Thank you.